Hey, I'm Dave.
And I'm Rowdy.
And we're here again with Mr.
Jody.
Rich. Yep. You could be like, I'm Jody.
I'm Jody.
Yep. That's how we do it, right? That's how we roll in the positive empowerment moment.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, if you saw in the last episode, we talked to Jody Rich. You do want to check out that episode if you missed it.
Right.
It was an awesome episode. Jody is an amazing man. But in this episode, we want to kind of continue that conversation. And we talked a little bit in the last episode about cyberbullying. Mm-hmm. You brought it up, Jody. You probably saw that a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Literally every day, and bullying in the way you guys remember bullying.
Right.
We don't see. We just don't see people physically going out and stuffing people in garbage cans.
Hey, easy. Listen, it was a big garbage can.
Actually, the garbage can got stuffed on top of
Exactly.
me. That's what happened to me.
You remember that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or hazing kinds of things, you know? I mean, and there's so much pressure that way that, I mean, you know, we don't haze, we don't, all that kind of stuff that we've gotten rid of, and yet, this is worse. It's so much worse. So much rather get I mean, you almost feel a little bit of love when you're stuffed in a garbage can. And,
Right.
I mean, people
right.
are paying attention to
Yeah.
you, and you're
Yeah.
But
A little physical touch, kind of nice.
Yeah. They care enough they put it in a good garbage can. They're good.
I mean, do you feel like if you get a black eye, it heals in about a week? If you are cyberbullied, maybe it never heals?
yeah, and you may never know. You know, you may never know. And I've seen kids come just torn up, you know, emotionally, and they let it go in my office. And I try to portray that to kids out there to say, I wish you could see these kids when they come in and realize how much it impacts them.
Yeah.
And they don't say anything, you know. And so grateful that they're there when they let that go. But it's really sad to me sometimes how mean. I didn't see that back before the social media. I just didn't see that type of. I mean, it was there, you know, but things that were said. But it took a lot for people to say something to somebody that was really rude and hurtful.
Yeah.
And I see it every day on students' cell phones as they come in and share things with me in my office. And the worst part of that, of course, is when they're having suicidal ideations, and it's just, you know, they don't. I mean, kids, come on, middle school and high school kids. I mean, they're just fighting to stay confident enough to just get up and be out there, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all insecure.
Sure. Right.
I mean, we all want to feel like we're okay every day, and these kids, I'm telling you, I mean, they're so fragile right there. And then to have all those sources to just beat them up, yeah, it's really hard.
What can parents do anything to prevent their child from getting cyberbullied? Is there anything at all that could be done?
Well, and we talked about this in the last episode a little bit, but man, that communication. When I see, I mean, it's a private. I mean, kids value privacy,
Right.
and parents value safety. I mean, they oppose each other. I mean, parents want openness,
You're right.
and kids want privacy. And even, like, I remember with my own kids, I'd say, you know what? It's okay if I look at your phone, and they're like, what, you're texting? To girls, for example. And they're like, it's not inappropriate, Dad, but it's like uncomfortable. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't want you to listen to my conversations when I'm flirting with girls. I mean, it's not inappropriate, but it's
Right.
private.
Yeah.
It's private.
You're like 30 years older than me.
Yeah. What's up, Dad? What you got?
It's awkward, but I love when those relationships are there, and I see them with real healthy families, where you can say, you know what, just like I would tell you to, and myself included, give that phone to my wife, go through everything on my phone, and if there's anything you feel uncomfortable with, that should never be texted, you know, and I would say the same thing to kids, but parents have to have that relationship enough that cool factor, I guess, enough to say, you know, if kids flirting with a girl and say, you know what, that's cool. I get. I mean, that's natural, normal. That's, you know, be involved in that. You
Right.
know? Share that. That communication, I can't overstate it enough. If those things are shared, but anytime there's secrets, it's not going to go well. So that's huge, because then you can see so many things. I mean, if I'll have kids tell other kids, I'll hear them tell other kids, my dad checks my cell phone every night, so be careful what you text me.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or my mom checks my cell phone. Be careful what you text me, because she looks at it.
And that's good, right?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But not uncomfortable for those. It's like, yeah, they're natural, normal, healthy relationships. But then kids will share with their parents, or parents will see what's going on, and they can take care of that. I mean, that stuff's just not going to happen. And honestly, Dave, Rout, if you want to prevent this, you can. And if kids don't want to be involved in this, they can choose not to be involved. It's to me, it's not. The kids aren't victimized a lot. They kind of put themselves in the situation enough to allow those kinds of things to happen. You know, I can, and I'll tell kids this. I can go out and pull someone out of the hall and say, "Have you ever been a victim of this?" And they're like, "No." I mean, we call it drama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the kids, the kids that say, "Hey, I hate drama. I just hate drama." They're the ones involved,
Yeah.
You take most of the population and say, you ever get sucked into this drama or get cyberbullied, that kind of thing, and no. You'll get the normal stuff like we always did, the bantering, or maybe something said that's offensive, and you say, "Hey, what's up with that?" But typically, healthy relationships, healthy kids, healthy families, they're not going to be as prone to that by a long shot. But if they're not, they're seeking for approval. They want to be a part. They kind of put themselves in a situation where they might be vulnerable to that kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So those protective factors, I think we talk about with all these things, play a huge role. But if they get in that situation, hopefully they're going to get that help to where they can say, "This is going on." And I'll tell you what, in the schools, if we see a text that's threatening, that's bullyish at all, I mean, we're on it. We get the kid in, and here's the deal, and it's easy. You confront them, and it stops, if they will come and get the help. But some obviously aren't going to feel comfortable with that.
So probably it's important for parents of young people to build that relationship to a point where the young person would feel comfortable. If they don't feel comfortable going to a school administrator, at least coming to the parent, or even a sibling who would then go to the parent or something like that. If you keep that communication up, they feel comfortable with that. Is that fair to say?
Yes, relationships are key. Relationships are everything. Loving relationships, unabashed, loving relationships. Yeah, so they feel safe, for sure. And that's all that's provided. That's all I feel like I provide at the school. And I loved it when kids would come to me, and they would often, and say, "Someone posted this or this or this, it's hurtful." They'd come to me, and I love that, because they trusted me enough to say, "I don't want to see this. I don't want this person to see the post or to be hurt by this. We need to get this off." And they'd respond, if you have those loving relationships, the best thing you can do.
So tell me, sometimes it's not people in the school. Sometimes it's people posing as young people, something like that. What happens if a young person is a victim of real life cyberbullying?
Yeah, and that's something that's real and it's out there. And I never would have guessed that, but I had one instance where a student came to me just in fear, and he was a good, athletic, popular kid, good kid, but got sucked into this, which kids it can happen easily, but came to me and said, I'm in trouble, and he was crying and just panicked. when I got him calmed down, I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, bottom line, got sucked at this girl, someone posing as a young lady in the area, had texted him and sent a picture, tried to build a relationship, and sent him some inappropriate pictures and asked for one from him. He eventually gave in, sent a picture to her, who wasn't actually a her. As soon as that picture was sent, it got ugly. It got ugly really fast, and the threats, the blackmail started to happen, and he was scared to death. Threatened to destroy his life, which they could with that picture, and they told him that they had these contacts and these contacts, and they knew everything about him, and threatened to destroy his life, and he felt he had no option but to give in to their demands, financially and whatever. But fortunately, he came to me. We got the police officer involved and shut it down real hard and real fast. And so, yeah, if that ever happens, make sure your kids know that they need to come to someone, because, you know, they can be on that and it'll shut down real fast. But sometimes those kids just don't know how to handle it, and they feel like they have to give in.
I think that's important. I love that you kind of said that at the end, because sometimes as parents, we're like, okay, we need to be this authoritative person where we're like, okay, you're going to do this and you're going to do it because I tell you to do it. And then sometimes the kids kind of shrink from that. But I'm glad you said that, because this is a pretty serious thing. We're starting to see this more and more, right? With things like that specifically. We've talked about this before, but I remember hearing a story similar to this somewhere on the news where a young kid had the same issue. And then they found out this, and it came to the point where that person felt like a suicide attempt was the only way out, and which breaks my heart, to the fact that people think that that's the end all for that situation. But I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think Dave brought it up too. That open communication is where it's at, where somebody can feel comfortable with going to a parent, a counselor, somebody that just cares, whether it's your neighbor, or whether it's your dad, your mom, your grandma, your grandpa, somebody where you can just approach them and say, okay, this is what happened. Because it's probably not the most exciting thing to tell somebody that, hey, I took this photo and I sent it someplace and now I'm getting blackmailed for it, right? I mean, that's got to be kind of huge thing I wouldn't want to tell somebody that.
Exactly, to be that vulnerable.
Yeah, it's an embarrassing thing to tell someone. But if you have that relationship, then even though it's embarrassing, maybe there's an alternative, right? And in your case, when you talk about this specific case, there was an alternative, and it shut down, right? The police officer got involved, and the person, that was it, right?
Exactly, and you know, the thing I want to stress with kids and their relationship with the parents, I mean, I know it's, whether parents want to say, you know, I need to check your cell phone frequently, whatever kind of schedule. I think even more important than that is having that relationship of trust with your kids. You know, I mean, I think checking cell phones is important, but that can get ugly if the relationship's not there. But, you know, if they know that, you know, I don't care, you know, son, daughter, I don't care what mistake you make, I don't care what you do, I don't care what's on your cell phone, you know, let's talk about it. And I want to just have that relationship, so that, because if you start forcing the issue, it's going to go nowhere fast. And so that's the hard part, you know, to be regimented about that kind of thing. But the relationship's important.
It almost feels like, to me, I can imagine one of my kids saying, "What's the matter, Dad? You don't trust me?"
Right.
And I almost feel I can almost hear myself saying, "I trust you. I don't trust everybody else." Right. And that's why I want to look at your phone, is because I do not trust everybody else.
I'm astounded at how many girls, middle school, high school girls, come to me and say that a young man has requested an inappropriate picture of them. And I thought it happens occasionally. But if you asked young ladies out there, you'd be astounded. I mean, they just
It happened to my girl when she was 17.
happens all the time.
Yep.
You'd be shocked. And so for your daughter to say, and for you to say, has that ever happened to you? I mean, do you ever get requests like that? And for them to be able to be honest enough to say that they have, if they have, or how that, you know, how that went or whatever. Or if they make a mistake and get sucked into that kind of thing, that too they can share that with you and say, I was stupid, you know, and I you know, just to be on board with those kids, and so you can work through these things with them. You can't dictate it, and it's because we're all that way. You tell me not to do something,
We're going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't care how old you get. That's just
Right.
That's called agency at its finest. We just we fight for that agency, and
Right.
we don't want to be told. We want to do it because it's our idea.
Yeah.
And I think at the same time, when we do something stupid, it feels like the worst thing that could happen is for someone to tell us what we did was stupid.
Yes.
Because we already get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I don't want you to tell me that what I did was stupid. I just want you to help me get this figured out, get this straightened out, and then I'll have learned my lesson and never do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a hard thing to do. Like a lot of times as parents, our first thing is like, well, that was really dumb. Why did you do that? But like you just said, I deal with that with my kids all the time.
I think it would only be hurtful.
Right.
Yeah, all of a sudden my mom or my dad thinks I'm stupid.
Right.
I already get that. I already feel like I'm stupid. I'm already dragging myself through the gutter. I don't need to be told that by
Right.
someone that loves me or
And
that I
then
love.
you carry that with you.
Sure.
And I had another thought too. I think most of how we can help are these precursory things, you know, the preventative measures, because you know in the moment it gets hard, but it's all these things about making opportunities for these kids to not be on their phones all the time, you know.
Yeah.
To provide opportunities. I mean, think about it as families. What the best times as a family, you know. I just came from a couple girls' camps this summer, and I hear the girls just talk about how awesome it was up here. Why? Because they've had no contact on their social media.
Yeah.
They've felt so much love from everybody. They've connected with people. It's like it's how it used to be,
Yeah.
a little bit, but you find opportunities to kind of take that out of the picture. I mean, we have a cabin up on Kolob. My favorite thing about it is that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that initiative to somehow provide opportunities to get out, to get away, to plan times, you know, and opportunities to detox, to get away from that kind
Right.
of stuff.
Yeah.
And they feel that, and they feel good. And like I said, if you can do it early, so they don't fight you as much,
Yep.
it's better. But you know, you take a kid and you get them away from that for a week in a positive situation with family, friends, whatever, and it's going, man, this feels really good. This is pretty awesome. So we need to do those preventative kinds of things as much as we can in families to provide that.
I like that. You said it earlier. Start off with a plan.
Yeah.
Have a plan. Have a electronic plan, and a plan with the family. And I think that's key. So if you don't have a plan, get a plan.
That's right.
Technology
Make a plan.
Technology plan. That's what you called it. Technology plan.
I like that idea.
Cool.
I'm going to do that. I don't have one myself. We're going to do one in my family.
Excellent.
It's cool. So great. Thank you, Jody.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Jody.
it.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be with you guys.
So much fun.
Love it.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us.
Yes.
These last couple of episodes have been a little bit longer, but I'll tell you with Jody, the time just flies by.
Yeah.
It really does.
And
Because you're an amazing man.
And he's got a vast array of knowledge. Did I say that right?
I love that. He has a plethora
He's got
of knowledge.
plethora of knowledge. Yeah, so good to have him here.
Yep, thanks for we got social media for good.
Yes.
Right now.
For the positive.
Limit your social media like 10 minutes a day, right? And have it all be positive empowerment.
Yes.
Could I say one other thing
Sure.
in regards to positive social media?
Please.
And by the way, my greatest, I mean, you know, they brag on me a little bit, which is not
Rightfully
good.
so.
But my greatest accomplishment graduating these two from high school.
Yeah, I don't think they know.
That was astounding. And now
That was a feat.
master's, doctorate degrees. These guys, now they're my idols.
We actually had an episode on that. We kind of
Yeah.
told our story and talked about how we now love education.
Oh, it's-
I don't
it's
know that
incredible.
everyone believes us.
No, they didn't. They didn't
You know?
think that we were that bad in school.
It's all about timing.
Yeah.
And truly, like I say, you know, if I made you do it, it wouldn't happen. But once you wanted to do it, it happened. But just a word on positive social media, because like they say in their episodes, you know, how are they getting this message out?
Right.
Through all the social media channels. And probably, well, the first year that I had the principal's assignment at the high school was kind of when Instagram was getting out there. And it was all about the selfie. And I went, just the selfie itself just bothered me. It's like, it's all about me, you know? And my whole message is, it's not about you, it's about everybody else. So get away from the selfie thing. And then this whole selfie generation. And so I went, you know what? You can fight it or you can join them.
Right.
And I got myself an Instagram account, and it still is one of the most awesome things. I mean, and my whole thing was every day I would try to find someone, a student, that I could post as my hero. And I made this acronym, HERO, H-E-R-O, hard experiences, relentless optimism. So kids
Nice.
that face something hard and they overcome it, because doing hard things is another one of my mantras.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I would go in classrooms and activities and every day post a student to kind of pull them out of the me thing and say, social media is about helping other people feel good about life, and it's been awesome. And so, and now that I'm out of that picture a little bit to as of this year, that's my plan. I mean, I was just in Baltimore with my kids this last week, and every day I try to meet people, and it happens if you look for that. Meet people and connect with them enough to say, dude, you're awesome. Boom, we take a selfie and post it and say, this guy, just met him, this is kind of his story, and he's a good dude, and I love that. So a couple things there. One, positive use of social media, and two, connecting with people. I just get away from this, get out there and connect with people, and that is hard for kids to do now because of this thing.
Yeah.
But if we could somehow help them, and I love, and again, parents, I love it when I got a little tiny kid and they come up and parent says, look him in the eye and shake his hand and introduce yourself. And just little things like that, and providing opportunities to socialize, to connect, because you connect with people,
Yep.
life's good.
Oh,
Life's good. You
absolutely.
feel good about yourself, and life's good. So whether it's through social media, face-to-face, but a lot of positive ways to use it. A lot of positive out there. It's an awesome thing. So if we look at it that way, it's beneficial.
That's cool. And he's not kidding. I mean, when you started doing your posts, like your Instagram stuff, I had to stop liking them because I didn't want to seem like the 42-year-old creeper guy that's like, yep. But it's a positive thing. And even my kids would even make comments like, oh yeah, Jody does this all the time, and it's just awesome. The kids love it. So
What's the handle on it? What's the name of the account?
Jody.rich, Jody.rich. The hardest thing, honestly, and I never knew the impact.
huge impact.
But the kids are like, I was never your hero. Like they graduate and they'll go,
Yep.
I just wanted to be your hero on Instagram, you know? Or can I be your hero on Instagram? What do
Yeah.
I gotta do, you know?
Yep.
I'm like, pass all your classes this quarter, you know?
Nice.
And or whatever, wherever they are, because it's not about being the most excellent. It's about you're facing life and you're tackling it. You're doing it, you know?
I got a question for you. Is there an age limit on your hero?
Look for my next post.
What can I? We could pose it right here, right
Just
now.
like this.
Right?
These two right here.
Awesome, man.
Hey, Jody, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
No, it's
Thank
a
you.
It's a pleasure.
Positive
Thank you.
Empower, that's so jody.rich, JODY.RICH.
Yep.
And Positive Empower, that's our social media. Feel free, join us, subscribe. We would love to, just spread positivity. That's what it's all about.
Make comments. We want to get some interaction going, so that'd be great. So,
Thank you so much, Jody.
yeah,
Thanks
thanks,
for
man.
having me.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, take care.
See ya.